Thanks, Blue. Really appreciate that. I should be fine. Don't think anything happened. What's going on? I dropped my thing. Is my internet good? Yeah, it is. My internet should be fine. With the smaller pieces. Um, we're gonna be putting just like some stuff back here. We're gonna be putting some stuff back here so that we can, be chill. We don't drop anything, right? So let's see here. Put this box right here. It's just right here. Okay. I have a table. So let's figure out what we're gonna do first. What do I gotta do first? I have pulled up a be prepared. Okay. There's this. I'm gonna show you guys a website right now. My bitrate is bad. The internet's gonna be fixed in a second. Um, Wrong one. Build a PC. Hardware upgrade. Okay. I am doing something right now. Not that. Let's do this. You can you guys can just like see what it says. So yeah. Philips head screwdriver. I have that. Motherboard manual. It's gonna probably be in that thing. Zip ties, twist cables. I think I have zip ties somewhere. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna put some music on while you guys wait. 1 second. Where's my zip ties? Thought I had zip ties, but I guess not. You know, I think I know where it's at. Where it's at. Be right back. I don't have zip ties. That's the problem. I don't have zip ties, but I don't think that'll be a big issue from what I can tell. Thermal paste. I did buy thermal paste actually. 1 second. Thermal paste right here. Good stuff. Um, Something to hold your screws. A cup or magic. I have some space for screws. I'm chilling though mostly. What's next? Installation media. Magic tray. Thermal paste. Something to hold your screws. Magnetic array. Your operating system of choice. I'm not gonna have that on me right now, but I'm gonna work on that in a second. Band-aids just in case. Sure. Um, I think we're chilling. I think we're chilling. Let's just start. Let's just start. Let's just see what happens. Anyway, how you guys doing? How you doing, Blue? Appreciate you stopping by. Is everything chilling? Is everything chilling? The red should be good. Okay. Connect components to motherboard. Some people prefer to mount the motherboard in the base case before they do anything else. Generally easier to with most builds to connect key components like the CPU and to storage and RAM without leaning over to the outside of the case. Whether you're going into the Intel AMD base build, this plastic cover, protecting the socket. Okay, the CPU. Whether the recent level motherboards cooler. Oh, thanks, Adrian. Okay. Yes, no worries. Piece size amount. Okay. Let's see everything here. So this is leading me everywhere I need to be. Sheesh, bro. First, gather setups in your case, like your own bag. Proper place to install them. Core platinum. We'll do later. So CPU RAM the board into the case. So you haven't removed the side panels. Okay. Let's just start at step 1. Why is that? Why is the stream elements doing that? You know what? Did stream lag? I think so. Yeah, okay. Let's just start with the beginning. Okay. CPU, whether you're going to Intel or AMD based build, the first step is to remove the plastic cover to protect the socket and release the tension lever on the CPU and most recent AMD Intel platforms. So you drop the processor into the CPU socket. Okay. What happened? What do you mean what happened? Nothing really happened. I dropped these things, but they look fine. So I should be fine. I hope. I swear, dude. If I broke anything, I don't think I did. They're kind of like getting stuck into the plastic a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Stream offline. That's sucky. Okay. I don't know what's going on with the stream. I think my internet's been weird as of recent. So I think after this stream, you know, maybe things will be better. You know what I mean? Hopefully. Anyway, I hope they think this is good. CPU, whether you want Intel or AMD based, the first step is to remove the plastic cover on the protecting socket. Okay, so I'm guessing this. AMD Intel platforms, lift up the metal socket, put the pressure into the CPU. So opening the CPU. Opening the CPU. What is the CPU? Is this the CPU? No, this is the GPU. I think this is the, yeah, CPU, motherboard. This is the fan. I have two fans. Oh, it's a power supply. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Is the music on? It's not on. Okay. Just note your fingernails are pretty short. Yeah, they're pretty short. Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? Then it breaks. I'm gonna be so sad if it breaks, bro. Y'all need to sub if it breaks, so I can, you know, buy more. You a nibble? Yeah, unfortunately, I've been trying to stop, but it's a habit. So this is the CPU. I'm pretty sure. Let's check it out. Let's see what we can do. How do I open this? Oh, mic's in the way. If you can't hear me very well, let me know. I will not be gifting you. That's like $10 in US money, bro. How much did you spend on everything? I am gonna keep that private, my guy. Just yeah. No disrespect, but yeah, I'm gonna probably keep that private. Ooh, wow. Okay, so I am not Mr. Beast. Bro was not Mr. Beast. Okay, I got a thing here. I don't know what this is. Is there a manual? Hope there is. I don't know how to handle everything. Okay, so I'm gonna put the box on the ground. Put this on the table. This is the motherboard, I think, with the CPU socket right there. So there's several little bag things. Oh man, my knees are gonna hurt after this, dude. There's a little screw thing here. Okay, put that there. Got some cables. Okay. It's like $17. I mean, hey, you know what? You should move to the US and buy a mansion. I don't know how much money you have. Don't tell me anyway. So another bag with a little thing right here. And then a manual, I think. This might be a manual. My knees are already hurting, bro. Ton of use. Dude, I don't know what I'm doing, dude. Wait, installing the CPU. Okay. Make sure your motherboard supports the CPU so gigabytes was right. Support. Computer, unplug the power cord from the power lamp before installing so you get hardware damage. Click the pin one of the CPU so can insert it or enter correctly. Where's my CPU? This is probably my CPU right here. Hold on. My CPU is probably this. So I gotta put this into my motherboard. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I have a fan right here that's blowing air to me, and it's really hot in my room right now, so I'm gonna be doing this. Why is it stuck? Oh, it's just heavy. I am terrified, bro. Just check that. Okay. I'm guessing we open it through here. I'm gonna double check the website first. I don't think this website is gonna be much help. I'm gonna hide you real quick so you guys don't see. And then back screws. What if we just watch this guy? What if we just watch this guy's video?
If you're planning on building your very first PC, then you clicked on the right video. This is a full in-depth step-by-step build guide on not only building the PC, but also setting it up as well. Because building the PC is only the first half. You still have to set it up. We need to download and install the Windows operating system, download and install the drivers, set up XMP profile in the BIOS along with other Windows settings to make sure your PC is running at its full potential. We're going to be doing all of that in this video. If this is your first time building a PC and you don't quite have the confidence for it because maybe you're afraid of damaging something in the process, or maybe you're afraid of your PC not booting up for the first time, I'm here to tell you that it's gonna be okay. All right, I get it, you guys. This could be very intimidating for beginners. I've been there. I know what it feels like. That's why I'm gonna take my time in this video and guide you guys step by step from the very beginning all the way to the end. And I'm gonna make sure you do everything correctly. So these are all the parts I'll be using for this build guide, but don't freak out if your parts are completely different because building a PC is very similar. It doesn't matter if you're going Intel, AMD, or NVIDIA, okay? You can follow along on this build guide for whatever PC you're building yourself. But just in case, if you guys like this PC and you want to build this exact same one, I'll drop a link to all the parts down below. Alright, so before we begin the build guide, I think it's really important for you guys to understand what goes inside a PC and what each of these components do. Even if you've built a PC before, I'm pretty confident you might learn something new. So all PCs have 7 main components, and we're going to start off with the CPU, also known as the Central Processing Unit. It is kind of like the brain of the PC. It is the core component. It is responsible for processing and executing instructions to the rest of the components in the build. The CPU sits on the motherboard socket, another component needed for a functional PC. The motherboard is the backbone that ties the computer's components together at one spot and allows them to talk to each other. Think of the motherboard as the body. These come in various different sizes, ranging from tiny, mini ITX form factor all the way to extended ATX. They also come in different socket types and chipset. Next up is memory. Every PC needs at least one stick of RAM to function. Random access memory, or RAM, is one of the most important.
I was muted. I'm sorry. Okay. I got a chair, and we're gonna watch this video to see if you can help me out. Support overview. Common mistake. Let's watch that first.
One of the most common mistakes I see in PC building all the time is that people don't enable XMP in the BIOS to take advantage of the memory's full speed.
24 hours? That would suck if it did.
Default is running at half the frequency. In order to take advantage of the performance, you have to go into the BIOS and manually turn it on. If you want to check and see yourself if your memory
Chief,
is full speed, go into your task manager, go into performance.
Motherboard prep. Let's go there first.
Right, so let's start off taking the motherboard and the rest of the
Motherboard
accessories
out?
out of its box.
Let me know if you guys still can't hear me.
Taking the motherboard with the plastic bag out of the box and placing it on the side. Underneath that, there
Plastic
will be
bag out of the
a bunch of
box.
extra things that you will need.
Okay. So I currently have the motherboard. It's in the bag still, so let's take it out of the box. Put the box over here. The motherboard down here. You're on unmute. I know. Okay, thank you.
your motherboard comes with a front panel connector extension, take that out as well.
I think we have
We're gonna
that.
take out the SATA cables. You will need one SATA cable for each
That's
storage
this.
device that you are installing. In my case, I'm installing an SSD, so I'll need a cable for that. And I'll
So
need a second cable for the hard drive. If you're not
Okay.
installing an SSD or hard drive, then you don't need any of these cables. If your motherboard has a built-in Wi-Fi, then you will need to take out the Wi-Fi extender as well. We will need this to connect to the internet after the PC
I
is
give you
built.
2 minutes.
If your motherboard
I
doesn't
will
have the
keep
same
streaming.
Wi-Fi installed,
Thank you very much. I'd probably do something good with it, like put a cherry or something like that, maybe.
install your M.2
You obviously don't have that money, but
If it
you're
doesn't have
saying.
one, then it means your motherboard already has this installed, so don't worry about it.
What is that?
You're also gonna need the
Oh, I think I have one.
if your motherboard comes with one. Otherwise, it's probably attached to your motherboard like it is in mine.
I don't know if mine
Finally,
is
we're gonna take out
attached.
the manual as it can come in handy at times. Carefully
Manual.
remove the motherboard from its anti-static bag and be careful not to touch the
$51.
components
I would be
that
very
are
much
on
appreciative of
the
it.
back.
And you will pay back for a percentage of how much this costs. But I would thank you for that. You don't have to give me my money. I also disabled ads. Because they just weren't being helpful to my channel. Then I was like, you know what? I think it's time that we get rid of ads. So yeah, I did that. So this is the way to open the bag. But yeah, you don't need to give me money. There's no point really. Just enjoy the content. Watch the stuff. All you have to do is just watch the stuff. That's more than enough. Okay, so taking it out of the bag. Taking the motherboard out of the bag. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh. Bag out. Oh, it smells crazy, bro. What the frick? Okay. Motherboard is out of the bag.
Make sure to grab the board from its sides. Afterwards,
From
gently
its
place it on
sides.
top of the motherboard box. This will protect the
Oh.
board from getting damaged as we install the CPU, memory, and storage. We are now ready to install the CPU. Carefully open the CPU box and pull out the CPU from the protective case by holding
Wait,
it
slow
from
down.
its sides. Make sure not to touch the top surface of the CPU or the bottom, especially if you are using an AMD CPU, because the pins underneath the CPU can Alright, so let's start off taking the motherboard and the rest of the accessories out of its box. Start off taking the motherboard with the plastic bag out of the box.
Okay,
and
I did
placing it
that.
on the side. Underneath that,
Can you hear me good?
Alright, so let's start off taking the with a bunch in the
You guys can hear me good above this guy's voice, right?
motherboard comes box. We are now ready to install the CPU.
CPU.
Carefully open the CPU box and pull out the CPU from the protective case by holding it from its sides.
Okay, let's watch all of the CPU.
Top surface of the CPU or the bottom, especially if you are using an AMD CPU, because the pins underneath the CPU can easily get bent, damaging the CPU in the process. Most CPUs have a triangle located on the corner. This indicates the direction you have to install the CPU onto the motherboard socket. I'm going to show you the process of installing 3 different CPUs. We have AMD, Intel, and AMD's Threadripper CPU as well. So
Yeah, I have AMD.
You are installing and skip ahead to that
AMD.
part of the video using the timestamps listed on screen. Okay, so we're installing an AMD AM4 CPU.
This one,
So
I
open
have.
the CPU by its sides and locate
Okay, wait.
the golden triangle. Usually if you're looking
Hit the
directly at
golden
CPU,
triangle.
it's on the bottom left. We're going to match that triangle to the triangle located on the motherboard socket. If you look closely on your AMD motherboard, you can see a triangle cut out on the top left corner of the socket. It's very small, but it is there. In my case,
How do I
it's
get the
in
socket?
top left corner. So I'm going to
Wait, hold on.
M.2 SSDs are alright. So let's start off taking the motherboard
How do I open the socket? Because the socket's there. I just can't really.
motherboard box. This will protect the. Now ready to install the CPU. Carefully open the CPU box and pull out the CPU from the protective case by holding it. Afterwards, gently place it on top of the motherboard box. This will protect the board from getting damaged as we install the CPU, memory, and
Install the processor before removing cover. Do not touch socket contacts. Save and replace cover if the processor is removed. Huh? Do not touch socket contacts. So let's open this. Follow the instructions. Okay. Okay, box boxes off of the CPU. Okay. There's a triangle somewhere? Golden triangle. Let's, so there's some paperwork here. Let's look at the paperwork. Join the conversation. There's a community board. Communities for the CPU, that's great. Installation. Certificate of authenticity. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna go slow on this because I do not want to mess this up. Read this first. Prior to installing, ensure a positive experience. Record the serial number for pictures posted. So did this come with thermal? Hold on. What? I just remembered that I was at a certain like popular spot in my town recently, and someone was dressed as a Hobie Brown, a Spider-Verse or a Spider-Punk, I guess. It was really cool. Like he got like the details and all that stuff. It was great, and he had like a little blow up guitar, which was poggers. Can I do? Because I bought thermal paste. I don't know if it works with the Ryzen. What can I? Compatible with what? Should be compatible with China. No, not China. Ryzen. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna switch out the box that my motherboard is sitting on. There we go. I switched out the box. Oh, you can't see. What if we do this? There we go. That's better. You can't see entirely, but I'd rather be able to reach my stuff. I can just put that in here.
And storage. We are now ready to install the CPU.
CPU.
Carefully open the CPU box and pull out the CPU from the protective case by holding it from its sides. Make sure not to touch the top surface of the CPU or the bottom, especially if you are using an AMD CPU, because the pins.
Yeah. Not for reset. What is the sticker for? There's like a sticker on my dude. Where's the little paper? Oh my dude. What the frick? Where's the paper for in the box? Where did it go? Did you know where the thing went? I had a literally just like manual for this thing like, right here. Where did it go? Right here. Okay. Open and unlock socket frame. Close socket frame. Okay. Continue as shown above. Okay, it's faking me. Okay, so you guys can't see it, but there's like a socket right here. Open and unlock socket frame. So I just do this. Move that up. Open and unlock socket frame. Okay. And put the CPU in there. Should close socket frame. Flip lever up to lock socket. In socket. Okay. Wait, flip lever up to. Okay. Lock. Thermal solution. Option. I don't have a thermal solution, so that's not going to be my issue here. Okay. So I can tell. Let's do this. Let's do this finally. So let's open this up. Open this. So there's that. Okay. Okay. How do I do this? Oh, this is heavy. Okay, looks in. Looks sturdy. Gonna close that up. Do I? Okay. Okay. This came on when I popped it in, so let's just see what happens here.
Underneath the CPU can easily get bent, damaging the CPU in the process. Most CPUs have a triangle located on the corner. This indicates the direction you have to install the CPU onto the motherboard socket. I'm going to show you the process of installing 3 different CPUs. We have AMD.
Okay, we can skip over this.
To the triangle located on the motherboard socket. If you look close, it's very easy to position a CPU top left corner. We're going to have, while grabbing the CPU from its sides, we're going to lower it down very gently onto the socket and let it fall in place. Do not touch the surface of the CPU and do not apply any force. Gravity should do the job and the CPU will naturally fall in place. Before moving on, check all 4 sides of the CPU and make sure it is fully seated on the socket. If everything looks good, gently lower the lever down, locking the CPU in place. Congratulations, you just installed your CPU. Pretty easy so far, right?
So I touched the surface of it. I thought. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I touch the surface of the CPU. Processor. Fingers. Get the. Let's see what's next.
Okay, so we're installing an Intel the CPU to onto this any will pop off afterward. Pretty easy so far, right? Just pull it off your CPU. Congratulations, you just installed your CPU. Pretty easy so far, right? Okay, so you're one of the very few elite out there to buy a Threadripper CPU. Let's get this baby installed. Obviously, you will need the CPU itself. Miss it. Take the process. Always opening and closing order. 3, 2, start loosening up 2. Protective CPU again off the bracket down onto this click. 2, 3. Don't be a ripper. The memory stick.
Okay.
Congrats. Pretty easy so far, right? Okay, we are now ready to move on to the memory installation. Most mainstream motherboards have 4 DIMM slots, 1 for each memory stick you are installing. If you're installing 4 memory sticks, then you can just fill up all the slots. But if you're installing 2, then you will need to install them in the correct slots to take advantage of dual channel. Most boards have a diagram labeled right on the motherboard next to the DIMM slots. This will tell you what slots you need to occupy first.
Is it this?
On your motherboard, you can find it in your manual. So if you're installing 2 memory sticks, you need to install the first stick in slot A2 and the second stick into slot B2. First thing we need to do is remove the tabs on the slots that you are going to install the memory in. So if we're installing 2 memory sticks, for example,
this is the memory, or is this the memory? This is memory or RAM. If there's a separate one for RAM, then I know what he's gonna do. No paste. Cooler installation motherboard for registration. Install again. Power supply, monitor, install PSU, SSD, hard drive, SSD installation, plugging GPU. I need to freaking see that. I'm gonna go to YouTube because this is kind of annoying. I can barely see. Pause. Okay. Load up, please. Thank you.
Example, we are going to open up the tabs from slot number 2 and slot number 4. Every memory stick has a gap in the middle, as you can see here. We are going to align the gap on the memory to the notch on the DIMM
Wait, so my memory sticks have a gap on them. Yeah, I think these are the memory sticks. Okay.
slot. Once we have the correct orientation of the RAM, lower the memory stick down and apply firm pressure to snap it in place. If you successfully install the RAM stick, then the 2 and the second stick into slot B2. First thing we need to do is remove the tabs on the slots that you are going to install the memory in.
Wait, so
First, if it's not labeled on your motherboard, you can find it in your manual. So if you're installing 2 memory sticks, you need to install the first stick in slot A2 and the second stick into slot B2. First thing we need to do is remove the tabs on the slots that you
A2 and then slot B2. A2 and then slot B2 is the first one that belongs. So let's see here. If they're the same stick, I just plug both of them into the thing, right?
are going to install the memory in. So for installing 2 memory sticks, for example, we are going to open up the tabs from slot number 2 and slot number 4. Every memory stick has a gap in the middle, as you can see here. We are going to align the gap on the memory to the notch on the DIMM slot.
It's fine, yeah. Sorry, man, I came into the room.
Once
So,
we have the correct orientation of the RAM, lower the memory stick down and apply firm pressure.
which way is the front? Where is... What's the orientation of the RAM? Which side do I put the RAM in? If they're equal? No. Wait. So it's like this, I think. Yeah. I think so.
Pressure to snap it in place. If you successfully install the RAM stick, then the tabs on the sides will be closed. So double check your memory and make sure all the sticks are properly seated. If your motherboard has 8 DIMM slots, then just follow the same. Install the RAM stick. Every memory stick has a gap in the middle, as you can see here. We are going to align the gap on the memory to the notch on the DIMM slot. Once we have the correct orientation of the RAM, lower the memory stick down and apply firm pressure.
Let's take one RAM out and then we'll see how to do this. I'm scared, dude. If I mess these up by dropping them, dude, I'd be so sad. That should be fine, right? Ah, dude, these things are like so fragile, dude. Um, is like this. Because if I did it like this, then it would be off, right? No, it's in the same spot, generally. No, it wouldn't fit down there. Oh, ooh. Okay, I can snap those off. Okay, so first A2 and B2. No, flip it around. I'm hoping A2 and B2. Should be it, right? No. Um, how much pressure? It shouldn't be showing, right? So then I just. Okay, I'm gonna take this out, reassess my situation here. Wait, does this stuff come out? I don't think so. So then this is like this. Should be good, right?
To snap it in place. If you successfully install the RAM stick, then the tabs on the sides will be closed. So double check your memory and make sure all the sticks are properly seated. If your motherboard has 8 DIMM slots, then just follow the same process for each one. Alright, we can take this time to install our M.2 SSD. If you're not installing any in your PC, feel free to skip on to the next section. Most motherboards will have.
Okay. Wait, it doesn't look. It does, kind of. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. I did it. Did it. Okay, good. Then two. Then two. A little more force than I expected, but that's okay. It should snap into place. There you go. Is this head good? This side should be good. Okay, looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Next step, we're good. Okay.
Have one or more M.2 slots mostly located in between the PCI slots of the motherboard. In some cases, your M.2 slot can be behind your motherboard as well. This is very common in smaller form factor motherboards. You always want to install your M.2 SSDs on the top slot. Some M.2 SSDs come with its very own heatsink. As you can see here, the Corsair MP600 does.
M.2. MVM. Why not M.2?
Have one in fact, but the motherboard has an M.2 cover already installed, so unfortunately you can't use both. You have to make a decision and decide what you want to go with. If you want to go with the motherboard's cover, then simply detach the heatsink from your M.2 SSD and proceed with the video. If you want to keep the heatsink on, then do nothing and proceed with the video. We're going to need these tiny screws that came with your motherboard. Go ahead and take this time to install our M.2 SSD. If you're not installing any in your
Yeah, I have M.2. Yeah.
PC, feel free to skip onto the next section. Most motherboards will have one or more M.2 slots, mostly located in between the PCI slots of the motherboard. In some cases, your M.2 slot can be behind your motherboard as well. This is very common in smaller form factor motherboards. You always want to install your M.2 SSDs on the top slot. Some M.2 SSDs come with its very own heatsink. As you can see here, the Corsair MP600 does have one in fact. But the motherboard has an M.2 cover already installed, so unfortunately, you can't use both. You have to make a decision and decide what you want to go with. If you want to go with the motherboard's cover, then simply detach the heatsink from your M.2 SSD and proceed with the video. If you want to keep the heatsink on, then do nothing and proceed with the video. We're gonna need these tiny screws that came.
Wait, so mine,
Go ahead and
my motherboard has an SSD thermal guard.
unscrew the cover off.
So did I need this?
Slot and put it to the side. If you look closely on the actual M.2 slot, you can see a notch, very similar to the memory sticks we just installed. We are going to align that notch with the gap on your M.2 SSD for the correct orientation. Once you identify where the notch is, simply insert the M.2 SSD into the slot and push down on the other end so you can finish tightening it using the small screws. If you are using the motherboard cover, make sure to peel off the plastic from the thermal pad before putting it back on top of the M.2 SSD, and then you can tighten it back up. If you have more than one M.2 SSD, just follow the same steps for each additional one you are installing. Alright, we are now ready to prep the motherboard for the cooler installation. I'm going to show you how to install a stock AMD cooler, and I'm also going to show you how to install an all-in-one cooler, also known as an AIO. Most coolers have thermal paste already pre-applied, as you can see here. If your cooler already has some, then there is no need to add your own thermal paste.
So do I need my thing? I have 1 terabyte of this. Because my box doesn't say that. Fully covered heat sinks. Heat sinks. Can't use both. I think we can install my SSD because I used it. I bought it. So let's just go back real quick before we do anything.
And decide what you want to go with. If you want to go with the motherboard's cover, then simply detach the heatsink from your M.2 SSD and proceed with the video. If you want to keep the heatsink on, then do nothing and proceed with the video. We're going to need these tiny screws that came with your motherboard. Go ahead and unscrew the cover off the top M.2 SSD slot and put it to the side. If you look closely on the actual M.2 slot, you can see a notch, very similar to the memory stick.
My motherboard came with a couple things. Came with the little this one screw thing. It looks like a screw, and one regular screw. So we're gonna just take off this stuff. We're gonna see how these things exactly work, because I'm not sure how good it's gonna be. So let's kind of screw is this? The screw feels kind of weird, but okay. Ooh. Okay, I gotta get this out now. So he said just remove this thing. So I'm gonna removing that right now. Should be good now, huh? Remove. Okay. Remove this. Normal heat sinks. Put these screws right here. Let's open up my SSD. I need this. There's that. Crap. Should I have that there? No. Put it right here. Okay. I have this. How do I install this?
We just installed. We are going to align that notch with the gap on your M.2 SSD for the correct orientation. Once you identify where the notch is, simply insert the M.2 SSD into the slot and push down on the other end so you can finish tightening it using the small screws. If you're using the motherboard cover, make sure to peel off the plastic from the thermal pad before putting it back on top of the M.2 SSD, and then you can tighten it back up. If you have more than one M.2 SSD, just follow the same steps for each additional one you're installing. Alright, we are now ready to prep the
Wait, which side goes
line that
facing up?
to SSD slot and put it to the side. If you look closely on the actual M.2 slot, you can see a notch, very similar to the memory sticks we just installed. We are going to align that notch with the gap on your M.2 SSD for the correct orientation. Once you identify where the notch is, simply insert the M.2 SSD into the slot.
It can only go one way because the notch is like not in the center. So really we're chilling. So if we just take this, grab the sides, align the notch like this. So if I M2A CPU 2 CPU. Wait, which? What does it matter which side? I have two. Hold on, my motherboard has two SSD ports. Hold on, my motherboard has two SSD ports. But you need to make sure that your motherboard supports it. SSD ports. Which SSD port do I use first? Do I use M2A or M2B slots? It's saying M2A. Okay. Okay, M2A. I'm gonna do M2A because I think that's the best option now. Yikes, bro! I hate having big hands. Wait. Do I just slide it in? Oh, yep, it does that. That spins. So. Oh, there's like a screw, huh? Huh. Which screw goes into that?
Down on the other end so you can finish tightening it using the small screws. If you're using the motherboard cover,
this is the small screw. So open this. This screw should be the one that I use. Come on, rip. You good? No! Frick, I dropped a screw. That's great that it's magnetic, bro. Let's freaking go. My hands are not built for this, dude. I'm not gonna tie in it too much, but yeah, we're good. We're good. Not too tight, but tight enough. Okay. Next. Take these off. I don't think I can take this off. I can't. Oh no, I took the wrong one off. Dang it. Took the thermal cover off. Okay, fine. Do I need to take that off? No, I have to. Okay. I'm going in, so. I think there's it's like a little thing that's like stuck upwards. Should I do that? I'm not sure if I should be pressing down on it like that. What if I just remove it real quick? Can I remove the things? It's sticky, so I'm gonna do this. How do I remove this? I think it's just pulling off the little. I think I just pull off the little thingy because I'm gonna test it out, see though if it's good. It's annoying. Yes. Mandy. Hey Mandy, I'm kind of busy right now. Can you go over there, please? Sorry. I'll show you what I'm doing later. Okay. Oh no. Frick, my screw slipped and it freaking scratched the motherboard. Okay, great. I broke off the thing, so I can just do this. Yeah, just break up the little pieces. There we go. We're chilling. We're chilling. Okay, put these back now. Okay, that's done.
Make sure to peel off the plastic from the thermal pad before putting it back on top of the M.2 SSD, and then you can tighten it back up. If you have more than one M.2 SSD, just follow the same steps for each additional one you're installing. Alright, we are now ready to prep the motherboard for the cooler installation. I'm going to show you how to install a stock AMD cooler, and I'm also going to show you how to install an all-in-one cooler, also known as an AIO. Most coolers have thermal paste already pre-applied, as you can see here. If your cooler already has some, then there is no need to add your own thermal paste. However, if your cooler doesn't have any thermal paste, then we're gonna have to add some to the CPU before installing your cooler. Thermal paste is really important to help transfer the heat from the CPU to the cooler. Without it, the CPU will overheat and can potentially get damaged. I'm gonna show you two different ways of applying thermal paste. First off, locate the thermal paste inside your cooler box and take it out. If for some reason your cooler doesn't have any thermal paste included, you can buy them online for super cheap. I'll leave a link down below to one that I highly recommend. The P-dot method is the most simple and common way of applying thermal paste. You squeeze a tiny amount right in the center of the CPU, and once you install the cooler, it will help spread it across the IHS. I recommend this method for beginners. The spread method is personally my favorite method, and it's the way I apply thermal paste on all of my PC builds. To do this, you will need a thermal paste spatula, which is sold separately.
Dude, I
After applying a
swear.
amount of thermal paste in the center of the CPU, I use the spatula to evenly spread the paste across the IHS, making sure the entire surface is.
The fact that they were sold separately is so cringe, dude. I literally went to the store today to buy thermal paste. So if it doesn't come with thermal paste, I'm gonna be so upset. Like this industry, like or like this whatever freaking like the PC building industry, it's so unfriendly, dude. Like it feels like there's such a hybrid entry. You don't know every single thing. No one, barely anyone tells you how to do this stuff. Like I have the thermal paste, but I don't have the spatula. Like okay, you better have a spatula. Is it a spatula? Better be a spatula. There's a whole booklet, dude. I'm gonna use this spatula because I can't care enough. Okay. I'm not gonna read the book. I'm just gonna tell that's the guy.
Covered. I do this because I like the peace of mind knowing that the entire surface is covered by thermal paste. If in any case you messed up the thermal paste application and you need to clean your CPU, make sure you are using 99% isopropyl alcohol and paper towel. Do not use any tissue or toilet paper, as those will leave fibers behind. Remove the CPU from the motherboard and add a little bit of isopropyl to the tip of your paper towel. You can then use it to wipe off the thermal paste from the surface of your CPU. It's okay if there is some thermal paste left on the sides of the CPU. It's not a huge deal, but if you want, you can clean the edges as well.
Oh, this is the spatula.
And isopropyl to clean the paste off of your cooler if you need to. Now that we know how to apply
Okay,
thermal
this
paste
has thermal paste on it.
we are ready to install the cooler. If you're installing an AIO, skip to the AIO installation part of the video. Otherwise, if you're installing the stock cooler on either AMD or Intel, then listen up. Your AMD motherboard will have two of these brackets already pre-installed. We're going to have to remove them in order to install the stock cooler.
Okay.
Use a Phillips screwdriver and remove all 4 of the screws holding the bracket in place. Do not remove the bracket behind the motherboard. We actually need that to install the cooler. We're going to align the 4 screws from the cooler to the 4 holes on the motherboard. This is the same
Wait,
for
what?
Intel motherboard. 4 screws behind the remove all 4 of the screws holding the bracket in place. Do not remove the bracket behind the motherboard. We actually need that to install the cooler. We're going to align the 4 screws from the cooler.
Okay, so we're gonna align the 4 screws from the cooler. So let's put these right here. My hair's annoying. I think I had a beanie somewhere. Dang it. I don't want to get up right now. To bracket 1. On, yes. Okay. Okay. Got the brackets off.
Cooler to the 4 holes on the motherboard. This is the same for Intel motherboards using the stock cooler, by the way. The cooler can only be installed in 2 directions. It doesn't matter which direction you install the cooler as long as there is clearance. Sometimes the memory sticks will block the cooler on certain motherboards. Unfortunately, that is the case for me. As you can see, the memory stick is a little too close and it's coming in contact with the AMD logo on the cooler. If this happens to you, just flip the direction of the cooler to the other side. Once the cooler is sitting on top of the CPU, we are ready to tighten it. Using the same screwdriver, we are going to tighten the screws in a crisscross pattern. Make sure all the screws are fully tightened all the way before moving on. There is a cable that comes out of the cooler. This has to be plugged into the CPU fan header on the motherboard. In most cases, it is located on the top right side of the board and it's labeled CPU_fan. After plugging in the cable, you can it doesn't matter which direction you install the cooler as long as there is clearance. Sometimes the memory sticks will block the cooler on certain motherboards. Unfortunately, that is the case for me. As you can see, the memory stick is a little too close and it's coming in contact with the AMD logo on the cooler. If this happens to you, just flip the direction of the cooler to the other side. Once the cooler is sitting on top of the CPU, we are ready to tighten it. Using the same screwdriver, we are going to tighten the screws in a crisscross pattern. Make sure all the screws are fully tightened all the way before moving on.
Dude, my cooler is not the same as his. Oh, you know what? No, it has this. Ah, okay, I see. Let's figure out what we need to do here. Purpose application.
We actually need that to install the cooler. We're going to align the 4 screws from the cooler to the 4 holes on the motherboard. This is the same for Intel motherboards using the stock cooler, by the way. The cooler can only be installed in 2 directions. It doesn't matter which direction you install the cooler as long as there is clearance. Sometimes the memory sticks will block the cooler on certain motherboards. Unfortunately, that is the case for me. As you can see, the memory stick is a little too close and it's coming in contact with the AMD logo on the cooler. If this happens to you, just flip the direction of the cooler to the other side. Once the cooler is sitting on top of the CPU, we are ready to tighten it. Using the same screwdriver, we are going to tighten the screws in a crisscross pattern. Make sure all the screws are fully tightened all the way before moving on. There is a cable that comes out of the cooler. This has to be plugged into the CPU fan header on the motherboard. In most cases, it is located on the top right side of the board and as
Wait, so my cooler is different because some of the parts are not connected already. This is not for that. Okay, how do I do this? Because he didn't tell me. So I gotta do it what the thing says. This is what it comes with. LGA 1200. What goes on under the thing? Wait a minute. So so I have this thing right here. This goes under the motherboard. Let me see here. So these things are like how? That does not fit. No, neither does this way fit. Wait, no. My thing is too big. Huh. I think it's too big. Hold on. My thing is too big. Yeah, my fan is too big. My fan is literally too big for this. The freak? Is my color? Frig, dude, I think my color's too big. Here's AK. Um, with B. Frick's sake. B 650M. Oh. X. Compatible coolers. AK 400. 100. Is this compatible? I don't think my thing is compatible. Um, wait. What the frick? I'm gonna find the size of my cooler. Yeah, my cooler is too big. Oh my gosh. My dad said there's another tower. 1 second. Right back. So, so what happened was this cooler does not fit. Which is annoying because I don't want to buy another one. How do I do this? Or, yep, it's too big. This thing is too big. Dang it, dude. Man. I don't know what to do. I think I'm just gonna get off stream and I'm gonna figure out what to do from there. I don't think I can go. I don't want to do this. I don't want to skip a step, so we're just gonna be back. If I go live again, we'll go live. But if we're not, yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Okay. Peace out. Appreciate you stopping by. Bye bye.